we're gonna finish the notes. All right, so we need to take the notes, we need to flip it to the back side of the page because cones are where we left off in the notes. Cones. Yeah. Yep. And I think I was highlighting this in the video, but I don't have a highlighter here, so I'm just gonna do it like this. Yeah. All right. Shh. We are getting started. This is our sheet of notes. There's extra copies over there. All right. We're on the back side. Those are not the ones that I was asking you about. Yeah. All right. Shh. I've been trying to get your attention for a solid minute and 15 seconds, which is a minute and 15 seconds too long. Because I've been recording that whole time. All right. So for a cone, the volume is very similar to a pyramid. It is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. And the only real difference from a pyramid is that the area of the base is always going to be the same shape. So what is the area of the base? What's the shape of the base going to be? It's going to be a circle every single time. And what is the formula for the area of a circle? Pi r squared. So I'm going to write that off to the side so I don't forget. The area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay. So a cone is very similar to a pyramid, just like a cylinder is very similar to a rectangular prism. 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So if we go over here and we classify the figure, we're going to say, oh, this is a cone. And we're going to find the volume of this cone. So first I'm going to find the area of the base, which is going to be pi times r squared. And because I like to round at the end of the problem, not in the middle of the problem, I'm going to write this answer in terms of pi. So I'm just going to say 7 squared is 49, and I'm just going to call this base 49 pi. I'm not going to write the decimal yet. And then to find the volume, I'm going to do 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. And there's always two different ways we can write answers for cones and then also answers for cylinders. I probably talked about this in the video. We can always write the approximate answer and we can write the exact answer. The exact answer is in terms of pi. The approximate answer is a decimal. So I'm going to write this in terms of pi. I want you guys all to write this on your papers. In terms of pi. They're all gone? I'm sorry. Just write it on notebook paper and then I'll make you a copy as soon as I can. So if the instructions tell you to write the answer in terms of pi, that means they want the exact answer. And if they want the answer in terms of pi, it means they want the pi written on your paper, but not plugged in the calculator. Okay? So I'm going to write the pi right here, which means I am not going to type it in the calculator. So I'm going to do 1/3 times 49 times 9. And I get 147. 147 pi meters cubed. So that's my exact answer. 147 pi. That's my in terms of pi answer. Now, if we want the approximate answer, then we are not writing the answer in terms of pi. If I don't write the pi on my paper, then I plug the pi in my calculator. Okay? So I always do one or the other. So 147 pi, yes. 461.814 meters cubed. And if you want to type the pi into your calculator, it is second and then the caret button, the button you push to do an exponent. So second exponent. That's how we get the pi on the calculator screen. Okay, everyone good with that? So typically, in particular on today's assignment, typically when I ask you guys for answers, I'm going to ask you to put both. Put it in terms of pi, also put it as an approximate answer as a decimal. Today I'm going to ask you to do both because I want you to practice both. By the time we get into an assessment situation, I'm going to ask you for one or the other. And I tend to alternate. So one problem I'll ask for in terms of pi, and then the next problem I'll ask for decimals, and then the next problem I'll ask for pi, and then the next problem I'll ask for decimals. Because I want to make sure you guys can do both. Okay? All right, the next type of volume that we're going to find is for a sphere, which is not a circle. It's a 3D circle. It's a ball. All right? Sphere. The volume for that is 4/3 pi r cubed. How many people have heard of the word hemisphere? Hemisphere is half a sphere, okay? So hemisphere is half a sphere. It's half a sphere, which means you're going to do 1/2 times 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay? And I'm writing that down because there are multiple problems where they'll just throw in a hemisphere and you'll be like, wait a second, we talked about spheres, not hemispheres. And that's because you just take the problem for the sphere and you just divide it in two. Or multiply it by 1/2. Okay? Hemisphere is half a sphere. Everybody say that real quick because it's fun. Hemisphere is half a sphere. Isn't that kind of nice? No? Okay. Let's move on. All right. The next problem, it's mostly cut out here. If you guys want to kind of lightly trace it so you can actually see it on your notes. There you go. Okay. So find the volume. So we're going to say the volume is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. So if I do my answer in terms of pi, then I write the pi on my paper, but I don't type it in the calculator. And so then I would be doing 4/3 times 4 to the third. Now, if my answer is exact, and it's in terms of pi, to be exact, I don't want to round a decimal, because that's not exact. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to turn this into a fraction, 256 thirds. So 256 thirds. So there's my in terms of pi answer. That's inches cubed, okay? And then now if I want to get the approximate answer, I can type in the pi, 268.083 inches cubed. Isn't that fun, you guys? What a good time. How enjoyable. What if you just draw the shapes for fun? Then you will get an elementary school art credit. Is that gas? That is not flatulence. So this first example says if a volume of a sphere is 4,500 pi units cubed, what is the radius? So when they give me a shape, I'm going to write down the volume formula for that shape. So this says sphere. So I'm going to write down the formula for volume of a sphere. We should have headphones out at this point, right? Thank you. So sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And then they told us that the volume is 4,500 pi. So to make my life easier, I can see I've got the pi's on both sides, and those are kind of confusing to deal with, so I'm just going to cross those out. 1 pi on each side so I can cross them out. And so I've got 4/3 r cubed equals 4,500. And how do you guys want to get rid of the 4/3? Okay, so we could divide by a 4/3, that's allowed. We can also multiply by the reciprocal, multiply by 3/4, multiply by 0.75, okay? So if we multiply by 3/4, multiply by 3/4, the 3's are going to cancel, the 4's are going to cancel, and that leaves the r cubed alone. And then what do we get? More than that? Look at the number again. There we go. 3375. Okay. So now we need to get rid of the cubed. How do we get rid of a cubed? Cube root. Anyone remember how to type that in on a calculator? Hit the math button. And number 4, math button number 4 is how we type that in. And when you type that in with a 3375 underneath it, what do you get? 15. So your radius is 15. Okay. Yeah. Inverse operations. We are undoing what we just did. Okay. Let's go down to the next problem. Yes. You can do that, but only with a multiple choice problem. What if there were no multiple choice answers? Okay, let's try the next one. We have a square pyramid and a little square pyramid, and they want us to find the volume of the shaded region. So that's what we're going to do. They told us what different things equal. So they said capital B is 10, lowercase b is 6, H1 is 20, H2 is 12. Okay. So I have a big pyramid, that's the whole thing. I have a small pyramid. So I'm going to go ahead and find the volume of the small pyramid. So I have to find the area of the base. They said that this is a square pyramid, so that means that the base is a square. So I'm going to do 6 times 6, which is 36. We're going to do both. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I can do little b. Oh, it's because it was capital B down here. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Yeah. He was just, because little b was over here and big B was over here. And then the volume is going to be 1/3 times the area of the base multiplied by the height. So if I do 1/3 times 36 times 12, what do I get? 144? Perfect. Okay. So that is the volume of this little pyramid right there at the top. And then we have to do the overall pyramid. So the whole thing. I spelled that wrong. A-M-I-D. There we go. Okay. So we got the base of this one is going to be 10 by 10, which is what? Because they gave it to me in the problem. 100, okay. And then the volume is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height, which is 20. If I have 100 times 20, what do I have? 2,000. Okay, so it's 2,000 divided by 3. Okay. So if I want to know the shaded part, then I need to do what? Subtract them. So the whole pyramid minus the small pyramid, and what does that give me? 522.66666, right? Which would be 67 when you round. Oh. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. All right. So now we know enough information to be able to finish the practice assignment. I know that the practice assignment has multiple choice answers, but we do have an answer key, which means I need to see work for the rest of those problems. That's not a shock. Scott, I need to see work. You know why I'm pointing out. All right. So make sure you guys get your work done. We do have a video tonight, because always. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. I don't know. All right.